Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza is brought to you by Sport Relay. Honest, unbiased, and apolitical. Sport Relay, your connection to the diamond. And by A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volumes 1 and 2 by Evan Thompson. Relive the glory, the complete history of the Major League Baseball Playoffs. Welcome to Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza. I'm your host, Evan Thompson, Editor-in-Chief, National Writer, and Athletics Writer at Sport Relay. I also wrote these two books. A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volume 1 and Volume 2. If you haven't bought them yet, please do. There are links in the description box. I would be very, very, very grateful. This is our awards show for the month of May, so we won't go through any injuries. Our statistics include all games played in the month of May 2025.
No more, no less.
And as always, we don't include position pitchers in our team statistics. The biggest story in May from the world of relief pitching came on Sunday, May 18th, when Phillies closer Jose Alvarado drew an 80-game suspension after testing positive for exogenous testosterone. In other words, testosterone that is not produced in the body. Alvarado told Phillies president of baseball operations Dave Dombrowski, according to several articles written by the local Philadelphia media, that it came from a weight loss drug he was taking. Alvarado, because of the suspension, will be ineligible to play in the postseason, though he'll be eligible for regular season play again on August 19th. On that date, the Phillies will host the Seattle Mariners on Harry Potter night, which might be a fitting coincidence. We'll go through the team power rankings and awards when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza. It is time for the Team Relief Corps Power Rankings for the month of May. Statistics include every game from the month of May 2025. They include every pitch thrown in relief by a player wearing said team's uniform, excluding position pitchers. This table shows the scoring breakdown. Teams are ranked in clutch, run prevention, base runner prevention, and command, weighted as shown. The final score determines the ranking. 0 means right at league average. Positive is better than average. Negative is below average. A score of 100 means the team is 100% better than league average. A score of 50 is 50% better, and so on. Each whole number is 1 percentage point. We will start with the number 30 team and work our way to number 1. American League teams will appear in red. National League teams will appear in blue. The first number in parentheses after the team name is their rank within their specific league. The number after the comma indicates the change in their major league rank between our March-April rankings and our May rankings. Before we go through the rankings, let me show you the scatter plot of all the rankings as well as the scores. Big gap between the bottom two, as you can see. Big cluster there in the middle. A little bit of a gap between that big cluster in the middle and the top group. And then the top group is its own cluster. Here we go. Our first group is Pray for a Blowout Win. This includes 2 teams. At number 30 after falling 9 spots with a score of negative 31.0 is the Los Angeles Angels. Number 29 after a 14 spot plunge with negative 28.3 is the Arizona Diamondbacks. The next group, Stock Up on Tums, has 5 teams. Number 28 is the Baltimore Orioles, scoring negative 15.3 and falling 8 spots. At number 27, after a 24 position nosedive with negative 14.4. And most of this nosedive took place after May 14th. Is the Athletics. Number 26, after a 3-spot gain with negative 11.0, is the Chicago White Sox. Coming in 25th after plummeting 15 spots is the Cincinnati Reds with negative 11.8. And at number 24 with negative 8.6 and falling 8 spots is the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the Lots of Work to Do group, we have 5 teams. Number 23, after falling 5 spots, with negative 5.3, the Texas Rangers. With negative 2.9 is our number 22 team, one that climbed 5 spots, the Atlanta Braves. Coming in 21st, after climbing 4 spots, is the Milwaukee Brewers, with a score of negative 1.6. 20th, after dropping 7 spots, with a score of 0.2, is the Los Angeles Dodgers. And number 19, with 2.2, and after climbing 11 spots, the Washington Nationals. Slightly below average also has 5 teams. Coming in 18th with 5.8 and after falling 7 spots is the New York Yankees. Number 17 with 6.9 and after climbing 6 spots is the Tampa Bay Rays. At number 16 with 7.1. A team that improved 12 spots despite still losing over 20 games in the month. The Colorado Rockies. A drop of 3 spots came for our number 15 relief unit with 9.4. The Toronto Blue Jays. And number 14, after falling an anvil-like 13 spots, although it wasn't 24, with a score of 10.3. The San Diego Padres. Slightly above average has 3 teams. Number 13, after climbing 9 spots, with 11.0, the Detroit Tigers. At number 12, after falling 3 spots, with 15.3, the Houston Astros. And at number 11, after falling 4 spots, with 23.1, the Seattle Mariners. The Very Good has 3 teams this month. This trio includes the number 10 San Francisco Giants, who fell 8 spots despite earning a more than respectable score of 32.9. Number 9, after climbing 8 spots, with a score of 34.2, is the Philadelphia Phillies. And at number 8, after falling 2 spots with a score of 34.4, the Miami Marlins. Our next group, better take an early lead, has 3 teams. Number 7, after climbing 7 spots, is the Boston Red Sox with 39.4 points. Number 6, after climbing 2 spots, is the Kansas City Royals with 45.6. Rounding out the group is the number 5 New York Mets, who fell a spot with a score of 47.1. And our top group, the Elite, has 4 teams, all who earned at least 50 points. Numbers 4 and 3 are the top 2 teams in the National League. The 4th place team, after skyrocketing 20 spots with 51.1, is the St. Louis Cardinals. Number 3, after a leap of 16 spots, is the top relief corps in the National League for the month of May, the Chicago Cubs, with a score of 55.2. Coming in second after vaulting 24 spots with a score of 58.2, the Minnesota Twins. And the number 1 team for the month of May in both the American League and the majors, after climbing 4 spots with 60.7 points, is the Cleveland Guardians. The biggest gainers between the April and May rankings are the Twins, who climbed 24 spots, the Cardinals, who climbed 20, the Cubs, who gained 16 places, the Rockies, who gained 12, and the Nationals, with an 11-spot improvement. The biggest drops came from the Athletics, who plummeted 24 spots, the Reds, who fell 15, the Diamondbacks, who dropped 14 spots, and the Padres, who sank 13 places. That brings us to the team award winners for May. You've already seen who they are, but here we'll go into more detail as to why they earned the score that they did. First, the AL Relief Corps of the month, the Cleveland Guardians. They had an AL and Major League Best 7.0 goose egg to broken egg ratio. 21 goose eggs versus 3 broken eggs. The 3 broken eggs were also an AL and Major League Best. The next lowest total in the AL was 5, and there were 4 NL teams that had 4. They were 5th in the American League in both whip with 13.11 and home run percentage with 2.2%, as well as 4th in strikeout minus walk percentage, which was 15.8%. Their only real weakness was inherited runners, where they allowed an AL worse 45.2% to score. But the most important stat, the one that takes up half the score, is goose egg to broken egg ratio, as well as goose eggs. So clutch is what did it for the Guardians. The shakiest AL relief corps of the month was the Los Angeles Angels. They had more broken eggs, 13, than goose eggs, 12. A ratio of 0.9 goose eggs per broken eggs. That doesn't happen very often. The American League average in May was 2.7, and the Angels alone pulled it down by 0.2. Seriously, if you exclude the Angels from the goose egg and broken egg totals for the American League, the ratio becomes 2.9. Their scoreless percentage was 63.8%. The American League average was 71.9. The Angels' reliever whip was 17.29, better than only the Athletics, who had 17.79. The American League average, 13.61. And finally, their home run percentage was 5%, better than only the 5.2% from the Orioles, with the AL average being 2.9%. Moving on to the National League Relief Corps of the month, which was the Chicago Cubs. They had 22 goose eggs versus 4 broken eggs, a ratio of 5.5. This was actually second best in the National League behind the Cardinals, who had 23 goose eggs versus 4 broken eggs for a ratio of 5.8. Normally, this would be enough to put the Cardinals in first, but the Cubs were much better than the Cardinals in the other 3 categories, namely in run prevention. The Cubs' scoreless outing percentage in the month of May was a Major League Best 87.9%. The Cardinals, 74.0%, and the National League average was 73.3%. Holy outlier, Batman. For those who are curious, the Cubs' ERA minus in May was 61, lowest in the majors. Their whip was 10.85, second in the National League to the Giants, who had 10.22. The Cubs were 6th in strikeout minus walk percentage with 13.4%. The National League average was 12.6%. And the shakiest National League relief corps of the month of May was the Arizona Diamondbacks. But the jaw-dropping part was the magnitude of their struggles. Their overall score was negative 28.3. The next lowest in the National League was negative 11.8 from the Reds, then negative 8.6 from the Pirates, so the Diamondbacks' score was more than twice as negative as the next lowest in the league. Now, what made their score so low? Well, they were National League worst in clutch for one, with negative 53.9 because their goose egg to broken egg ratio was 1.1. 11 goose eggs versus 10 broken eggs. So they didn't only have the lowest ratio in the National League, but they had the lowest total amount of goose eggs. 3 National League teams had twice as many as the Diamondbacks, and 3 others had more than twice as many. Scoreless outing percentage, 64.0. NL average, once again, was 73.3%. WHIP, also the NL worst, 1590. The Rockies, who play at elevation and have a huge outfield with huge gaps, and the outfielders have to play deep so you can dump a lot of hits in front of them, and who had a 4-24 record in May, had 1510. The Diamondbacks had a 4.0 home run percentage. No one else in the National League had higher than 3.7. League average, 2.4%. And finally, their strikeout minus walk percentage was 9.6%, better than only the Rockies with 8.9%. The National League average was 12.6%. And this was after they fired the pitching coach and the bullpen coach in the offseason due to last year's pitching staff performance. We will be right back with our individual power rankings and awards. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza. It is time for the individual power rankings and awards. Statistics include every regular season game during the month of May. To qualify for the rankings, there is a minimum of 7 relief appearances. A link to our ranking methods is in the description box below this video. First, the American League middle relievers. Number 10 with 26.5. From the Los Angeles Angels, Jose Fermin. Number 9 comes from the Baltimore Orioles with 28.4, Brian Baker. Coming in 8th with 30.5 from the Tampa Bay Rays, Cole Sulser. At number 7 with 32.9 from the Minnesota Twins, Louis Varland. In 6th with 36.1 from the Detroit Tigers, Chase Lee. Number 5 with 40.7 from the Seattle Mariners, Gabe Spire. Number 4 with 41.6 comes from the Boston Red Sox, Justin Wilson. At number 3 from the Detroit Tigers, scoring 43.7, Brant Herter. Number 2 with 47.6 from the Kansas City Royals, Taylor Clark. Now for number 1. He is a rookie who had 7 relief appearances in May. He did not get charged with a run all month, obviously giving him a 100% scoreless outing percentage. And additionally, he had a 480 whip, that's 0.480, 480 whip, and an absurd 40.7 strikeout minus walk percentage, giving him 71.9 points for the month. The American League middle reliever of the month for May is from the Toronto Blue Jays, Braden Fisher. Now, the National League middle relievers. Number 10 with 25.3. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Grant Anderson. Number 9, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, with 28.0, Ben Kasparius. Number 8, with 28.3, from the Atlanta Braves, Enyel De Los Santos. At number 7, with 35.9, from the Chicago Cubs, Caleb Thielbar. In 6th, with 36.0, from the New York Mets, Huáscar Brazoban. Number 5 comes from the Chicago Cubs, with a score of 39.5, Chris Flexen. Number 4, with a score of 43.6, from the Washington Nationals, Cole Henry. At number 3, with a score of 53.5, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jack Dreyer. At number 2, with a score of 57.6, from the San Francisco Giants, Randy Rodriguez. And in first place, with 61.5 points, he had 11 appearances, and all were scoreless. Additionally, he stranded all 6 runners he inherited in the month of May, had a .643 whip, that's 0.643 whip, and a 25.7 strikeout minus walk percentage. From the Chicago Cubs, the National League middle reliever of the month for May is Drew Pomeranz. Turning now to the AL setup men. At number 10 with 78.6 points, from the Detroit Tigers, Tommy Kahnle. Coming in 9th, from the Houston Astros with 86.8 points, Brian Abreu. In 8th, with 103.1 points, from the Cleveland Guardians, Hunter Gaddis. Number 7, with 107.6 points, from the Boston Red Sox, Justin Slayton. In 6th, with 111.0 points, from the Minnesota Twins, Griffin Jax. Number 5 has 116.9 points. He also comes to us from the Minnesota Twins, Cole Sands. Number 4, with 118.9, from the New York Yankees, Devin Williams. Number 3, with 119.2, from the Toronto Blue Jays, Brendan Little. Number 2, with 125.0, from the Kansas City Royals, Lucas Erceg. Number 1 had a perfect scoreless outing percentage in May, going a perfect 9 for 9, in addition to stranding both runners he inherited. 7 of his 9 appearances netted a goose egg. He had a 13.64 whip, round average, and a 12.9 strikeout minus walk percentage. But because of that great goose egg per broken egg ratio, and that great scoreless outing percentage, he ended the month with 137.0 points. The American League setup man of the month for May, from the Seattle Mariners, Matt Brash. Next, the National League setup men. Number 10 comes from the Washington Nationals, with 52.0, Jose A. Ferrer. At number 9, from the San Diego Padres, with 61.9, Jeremiah Estrada. Coming in 8th with 62.5, from the Miami Marlins, Ronnie Enriquez. With 71.3 is our number 7 National League setup man. He comes from the San Francisco Giants. He throws from somewhere near the ground, and his name is Tyler Rogers. In 6th, with 75.2, from the San Diego Padres, Jason Adam. At number 5, with 76.8, from the Miami Marlins, Anthony Bender. Number 4, with 105.7, from the New York Mets, Reed Garrett. Not to be confused with Leaf Garrett. Number 3, with 118.6, from the St. Louis Cardinals, Jojo Romero. At number 2, with 132.8, from the Philadelphia Phillies, Orion Kerkering. Number 1 finished with 150.1 points in May, across 13 appearances, all of which were scoreless, and in which he stranded the lone runner he inherited. He had 7 goose eggs, a .682 whip at 0.682, and a 15.7 strikeout minus walk percentage. Our National League setup man of the month for May Also from the Chicago Cubs, Brad Keller. To the American League closers now. Number 5 from the Houston Astros and with 128.2 points, Josh Hader. At number 4 with 129.8 points from the Seattle Mariners, Andres Munoz. Number 3 from the Kansas City Royals with 135.0, Carlos Estevez. Number 2 comes from the Minnesota Twins with 143.0, Joan Duran. And with 165.2 points. He had 12 appearances. 9 were scoreless, giving him an 83.3 scoreless outing percentage. But more importantly, he had 11 goose eggs and no broken eggs. 11. That means this guy by himself had as many as the entire Arizona Diamondbacks. Additionally, he had an 11.43 whip and a 19.0 strikeout minus walk percentage. From the Detroit Tigers, our American League closer of the month for May, Will Vest. And finally, the National League closers. Number 5 with 128.7 from the San Francisco Giants, Camilo Doval. Number 4 with 136.3 from the San Diego Padres, Robert Suarez. Number 3 from the St. Louis Cardinals with 137.8, Ryan Helsley. Number 2 with 146.2 from the Philadelphia Phillies, someone who had to step up when his teammate made a bad decision and received a lengthy suspension. We discussed that earlier. Jordan Romano. And number 1 with 146.4 points, 11 for 11 in scoreless appearances. Also stranded, the lone runner he inherited. 6 goose eggs versus no broken eggs, a 0.529, 529 whip, and a 24.4 strikeout minus walk percentage. What? What's that? I hear Timmy Trumpet. And that's because Edwin Diaz of the New York Mets is our National League closer of the month for May. Now for the most improved and the biggest plunges. The biggest plunge in the American League came from Toronto Blue Jays closer Jeff Hoffman. Across March and April, in his 13 appearances, he held opponents scoreless in 11 of them. He notched 10 goose eggs in the month versus no broken eggs. He had a 587, 0.587 whip, and a 38.9 strikeout minus walk percentage. This gave him 128.7 points for March and April. But in May, only 7 of his 12 appearances were scoreless, making for a 58.3 scoreless outing percentage in a month where the American League average was 71.9. He had an alarming home run percentage of 10%. Yeah, 10%. AL average among relievers was 2.9%, along with a 2,000 whip. His goose egg per broken egg ratio was 1.0, 4 goose eggs and 4 broken eggs. This gave him negative 32.9 points, a drop of 161.6 points. The biggest plunge in the National League came from San Diego Padres middle reliever Alec Jacob. Across March and April, in his 12 appearances, he held opponents scoreless in 10 of them, 83.3 scoreless outing percentage. He added a 10.67 whip and a 12.9 strikeout minus walk percentage, and allowed 1 of his 5 inherited runners to score, which is 20.0%. League average is usually in the low 30s. This gave him 14.1 points for March and April. But in May, only 4 of his 10 appearances were scoreless, giving him a 40.0 scoreless outing percentage in a month where the NL average once again was 73.3%. He had a 7.7 home run percentage. NL average among relievers was 2.4, along with a 3,000 whip, 3.000. He allowed 80% of the runners he inherited, 8 out of 10, to score. Granted, 3 of them came on one swing of the bat when he gave up that grand slam after relieving Robert Suarez against the Angels. This gave him negative 101.2 points, a drop of 115.2. The most improved reliever in the American League struggled through March and April, disappointing the rabid fan base of the team that acquired him. He allowed an earned run in 4 of his 12 appearances, which is a 66.7 scoreless outing percentage. His goose egg per broken egg ratio was a straight 1.0. 1 goose egg, 1 broken egg. He was only in 2 goose egg scenarios total because he lost the lead in so many non-goose egg scenarios. And he did all this without even giving up a home run, making it even more alarming. His whip was 2,100, and his strikeout minus walk percentage was 4%, due to a lower than usual, at least for him, 20.0 strikeout percentage and a very high walk rate for anybody of 16.0%. This gave him a March-April score of negative 25.2. Turn the page to May, where 10 of his 12 appearances were scoreless for an 83.3 scoreless outing percentage. He had 5 goose eggs and no broken eggs, along with a 10.31 whip and a 27.9 strikeout minus walk percentage, 37.2 strikeout percentage versus 9.3 walk percentage. This all contributed to a May score of 118.9 points, our most improved reliever in the American League for the month of May. From the New York Yankees, Devin Williams. The most improved reliever in the National League did not even throw a pitch in the majors between August 10th, 2021 and April 25th of this season. The last time he gave up a run of any type, earned, unearned, or inherited, in a major league game was on July 27th, 2021, when he surrendered an earned run to the then Oakland Athletics. We won't list his stats for the month because you saw them earlier when we announced the National League Middle Reliever of the Month. The National League Most Improved Reliever for May, from the Chicago Cubs, Drew Pomeranz. That concludes this installment of Reliever Roundup and Bullpen Bonanza from Sport Relay. Join us next time when special guest John Shea and I will discuss the relief corps of the San Francisco Giants, who have been consistently good all season. I'm Evan Thompson. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. Click subscribe so you'll never miss an episode of this show or of our other show, Trade Trees. Tell your friends and baseball contacts. If you haven't done so yet, consider buying my books, A Complete History of the Major League Baseball Playoffs, Volume 1 and Volume 2. There are links in the description box below this video. And finally, bookmark and regularly visit sportrelay.com. Until next time, this is Evan Thompson saying so long for now.